You are now about to go on a generic side quest.
Tastes like freezer burn.
That's a thing. That was a terrible idea on your part. Why didn't I just
Welcome to another generic transmission, wrestling pod edition. Are you like me and have a million and one things to do that is very important? Well, this pod is brought to you by youtube.com. Make sure to go to youtube.com in order to not finish anything that you actually need to do. Today, I'm joined with my co-host on the gaming pod,
Ricky the Leaf, 8-bit to the future, Drake Quintel, Hey You in the Bushes.
Shout out to Justine.
Yeah, that's me, Mr. Not wrestling fan, but kind of wrestling fan.
Attaboy. And the man, the myth, the legend,
Sean, Walkwood Alley, mid-card blogger. I just go by Sean.
Speedy at least.
Call me that, please.
Okay, guys, how you doing? How have you been since the last one?
Not bad. Alive, which is good.
Enjoying some wrestling?
Yeah, we enjoyed some wrestling recently with Summer Slam, which I know we'll get into in a bit. Other than that, I haven't enjoyed too much wrestling. I haven't really been keeping up, but I hear stuff from the two of you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How about you, Sean?
Pretty good. We had 4 nights here in Toronto, our home city. Played host to NXT, TakeOver, SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown.
And you actually went to NXT, didn't you?
Yes, went to NXT TakeOver live. So, yeah, there's nothing like seeing wrestling live. There's nothing like a wrestling audience.
To actually go into our last discussion.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a fun show. Definitely check it out. But if a TakeOver comes to your hometown or somewhere close by, I do suggest checking it out because it's a fun show.
And tickets were cheaper than your normal
later
event.
on, not when I paid, but later on.
Okay, cool.
Let them in.
And yeah, so I've been watching out. I watched SummerSlam with you guys, and I caught the Raw the next night and bits and pieces of SmackDown. And I must say, some storylines are really drawing me in. I wasn't expected to be so invested in the Roman Reigns storyline, the whodunit, but that's actually drawing me in. But we can get to that after our SummerSlam reactions. What did you guys think of SummerSlam 2019 Toronto?
Well, overall, I know we'll go in through each of the matches, but overall, it was just okay. I mean, I guess I was hyped up hearing the card and hearing from you guys that you were hyped up about it. And honestly, we just came off of Extreme Rules a few weeks before, which was actually a really good pay-per-view.
Yeah. Which no one expected it to be.
Yeah, so I was quite disappointed. Not that there wasn't good matches, just some of the stuff felt weird and sloppily put together. But we'll get into that. But yeah, my overall, not a terrible pay-per-view by any means, but just not anything that memorable.
How about you, Sean?
I'd say like a thumbs in the middle kind of show for me.
Okay.
Not really thumbs down. It wasn't
before they drop Randy Orton. Not a thumbs down, not a thumbs up.
Wow. Yeah, just a thumbs in the middle kind of show. Nothing offended me or nothing was like god awful bad, but definitely was not one of the better shows of the year. And that's taking into account like even going to TakeOver the night before.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that influenced it too much, but
so are you saying TakeOver was much better than SummerSlam?
I don't know if it was much better because it was TakeOver compared to SummerSlam. I enjoyed TakeOver more, but that might have been because I was there live.
Yeah.
But rewatching both, I can't say TakeOver was like superior.
Okay.
That much more superior. I thought it was a better show, but yeah, SummerSlam was thumbs in the middle. I thought everyone, like nobody did anything like it wasn't like, oh man, look at this match, terrible, but nothing excited me or left me like, okay, I got to rewatch that match right away. So there was one thing that I did rewatch over and over, but
I think I know what you're talking about, and that was my highlight too. When I was watching it with you guys, with a couple of other of our friends, I was a bit underwhelmed, actually. I don't know what it was. I wanted to like it. I really wanted to like it. I wanted to do live predictions and everything, but the matches were okay. No one really botched anything. I couldn't tell you what it was, though.
It didn't, to me at least, it didn't feel like SummerSlam. Maybe that's what it was. Even though it was here in Toronto, and like there's that thought like, cool, we have this big pay-per-view here in Toronto. How often do we actually get this?
Yeah.
there was a vibe, and I don't know if that was part of it.
Speaking of that, I don't think we will get another one anytime soon because that crowd was dead, in my opinion. I could, at least from TV, there may be reports of it being lit in person, but I couldn't. They weren't engaging, and that kind of takes it away from me, especially when I'm watching it on TV. I listen for the announcers, and Michael Cole is just the worst. And the crowd, the announcers and the crowd is what, and the camera angles, obviously. Production-wise, they have it down. The match, again, no one botched anything, but some of the announcing and the crowd was just dead. I don't know. I didn't rate this one too highly.
No, I think also, like, from what I gathered and watching it back to hear kind of the crowd response, they honestly reacted to those they perceived as stars, which would be your Goldberg, your Shanes, your Brocks, your Trish, your...
Even Orton.
Right. So people who are from yesteryear, right? Like that were really good, but because of the lack of star power, Toronto wasn't really into it, and I don't know if I blame them totally. But
that's kind of a shame. I hate that represents us. I was very confused, but also kind of expected it when they started cheering for Orton over Kofi. But that match was a mess. They were rightfully angry that it didn't really end. Yeah. But we could get to that after. If you, Sean, you want to run down the list? And
Excuse me, yeah. We can, let's just go in order.
Yeah.
So...
You can start with the pre... I didn't watch the pre-show, but if you guys did, then feel free.
Nothing really of note happened on the pre-show. The Cruiserweight title was back on the pre-show. Oni Lorcan lost to Drew Gulak, who was a champion. But they did have a rematch on 205 Live, which was far better. I think this one only went... Here it says about 8:45. It felt really rushed, and people, I guess, were just coming into the building, so no heat for the match, and Gulak won. But I know you guys saw TakeOver 25. Oni Lorcan was one of the Cesaros that you guys call it.
Oh, okay.
And he was in that ladder match, and he's really good. So they can have a good match, but I guess not on this night. Buddy Murphy versus Apollo Crews.
So I heard something of note did happen
in that match.
Yeah.
So Eric Rowan basically attacked, and then there was follow-up on SmackDown, but... A nothing match if you're looking at the match. But...
And Eric Rowan attacked because the week prior, Buddy Murphy accused him of attacking Roman Reigns.
Yeah, so a little bit confusing because it's two heels, like a heel beating up a heel. But maybe Murphy's turning babyface after.
I kind of dug it.
And then the women's tag team titles were on the line.
Really?
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeating the Iconics again.
Oh, no.
Oh, before that, though, Elias came out. And this is probably the highlight of the pre-show. Elias came out, insulted Toronto, insulted lack of Stanley Cup, Blue Jays attendance, and Kawhi leaving.
Toronto!
And then Edge came out.
Hey.
And speared Elias, which is pretty noteworthy because he hasn't really done anything. But he said on his podcast today, actually, the one that came out today, that he does a lot of his own stunts in his movies, and so people shouldn't be surprised that he actually does things.
I bet he's coming back. And
he did say like he feels he could, but let's not. I mean, Trish came back on this night, so
the Trish thing was weird.
I just want to interject, sorry, about Edge, because I went on to his Instagram. He hadn't been back in Toronto in a while. Like, he had a very emotional post about coming back here to Toronto.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know what had happened in the past, but he was saying this was such a great experience for him, being in the ring, being around the city and everything. And he was just, like, it was nice to see that.
Yeah. I know.
His mom passed away.
Oh, okay.
Somewhat. I don't know. Not too long ago, but...
Maybe like 3 months ago, I would say.
So he talked about it on his podcast, like, just kind of putting it off coming back. Just because of the difficulty with that.
Sure.
Which is understandable, but it sounded like the camaraderie and being back and his wife doing commentary at NXT and coming to support her, and then they told him, like, hey, do you want to go out there and just do this for the crowd? So, it's really cool that he got to enjoy it.
He looked like same old Edge, like the psychotic after the spear, or even before the spear, pulling his hair and stuff. I think he could. I think he could make a return. I'm obviously not a doctor. I'm just a fan.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. I think he deserves that one more match.
Yeah, like a good bookend. Yeah. Okay, so that was the pre-show. Yeah. Sounds like a pretty eventful pre-show, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the Edge thing is definitely worth going back if you want to see the Eric Rowan beatdown. I'm a fan of the Iconics, so I wanted to see that match.
Yeah.
But I don't. The Edge thing and the Elias thing was great. And apparently Elias had to. They said it like 20 or a half hour before they actually went out, so Elias had to make a song about Toronto in 30 minutes and go out and do it. So it shows what a pro he is.
Yeah.
And Bliss, what was her
Mickey
uniform?
Cross.
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear.
Oh.
So a
You
lot
still
of
have to see
random
that, man.
non-Toronto related cosplay, but it is what it is.
Well, I guess because
Pop
Comic Con
culture,
or
yeah.
Anime North Fan Fest is coming up.
Fan Expo, yeah.
Fan
I guess,
Expo.
That's pulling at strings or
Yeah.
straws or whatever the saying
Toy
is.
Story, 4 is out?
Yeah.
It
Maybe
crossed
that.
$1 billion. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. But anyways, we sound like we're about to wrap this up. That was just a pre-show. Becky Lynch versus Natalia in a submission match. The man was the right person, I guess.
I feel bad
to
for
start the
Natty.
show. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Natalia. She's just not at a level of like capturing my attention or anything. She's a great wrestler, great.
But
in
you're
ring.
not given any reason to like her, right? So I can't blame you.
She doesn't really give any reason. She's a heart. Like that's really all she ever has said for 10 years.
That's true.
That she's Jim the Anvil Neidhart's daughter, and so confusing. But it was a submission match. I don't know if you guys remember any highlights. The only thing I thought was cool was the sharpshooter in the top turnbuckle that she applied while Becky was kind of hanging off. But
Which should have been illegal, shouldn't it?
I guess so. Yeah, and
The
there's a weird
build-
thing about like no rope breaks in this submission.
Yeah.
And all that.
The build-up was weird because she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll challenge you to a submission match, but no, I won't because you won't accept." That's,
Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
I don't know. Anything for you guys that stuck out for you?
For that match, no, it was okay. Nothing really. I mean, I'm a Becky fan, but
Just not the right like for again. I think this is what made SummerSlam not feel like a big show. It was
No.
like this is the man, and there should be a money feud, like a Ronda return, or I know someone else who returned that.
I
is
personally
probably going to
like-
be in a feud, but
I personally like submission matches. It brings me back to old school wrestling.
yeah. And again, like the match was fine. There's nothing wrong with this match. Like I don't think this was a bad match. I don't think anyone did anything that was like embarrassing, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
just didn't hit.
Just didn't hit, and it was. I mean, yes, Natalia is Canadian, and this is Canada, but Calgary and Toronto are two different places, so I don't know
For
why
sure.
there was a thought like she'd be overwhelmingly the babyface.
Nah, but they would never go to Calgary. When's the last time they've been to Calgary, right?
probably a Canadian stampede in your house. But,
thick, I will say.
Oh.
Who, Natty is thick?
Yeah.
so
Just realized this podcast will go public.
yeah, setting
gotta
back the
keep it.
women's revolution,
Yeah.
but
I mean, her repertoire of moves and
Bro,
her
if she's
careers-
thick, she is thick. That is nothing to be ashamed of.
I never said it's anything to be ashamed of. Good for her. It was the best match of the night.
so after following that, I know we had a Trish promo. Don't know, didn't really pay attention because it was just hyping up the match.
Trish promo after that? I
Exactly.
don't even remember that.
Yeah, it was
We
pretty
might have been
like, scripted
chatting or whatever, yeah.
And then Goldberg and Ziggler was next.
Okay, so I had a lot of faith in Zigzag Man. That and that faith was misplaced because it was a traditional Goldberg match.
Which is exactly what it should have been.
What it should have been, yeah. With a twist. So they had a longer match time, but not a longer match. After the spear... Did he jackhammer him the first time?
I think it was Spear and Jackhammer.
Right, 1, 2,
Go
3.
on.
For some reason, Ziggler got on the mic, and I thought he was pulling a Jeff Hardy and Undertaker. Taker, you haven't put me down. That's basically what Ziggler was saying to Goldberg. You're not a man, come face me, even though he just beat you. Goldberg comes back out, another spear, leaves the ring. Ziggler again.
Yeah, the third time that
Get
was
back
good.
here. So Goldberg comes, and he did a cool, like, bounce off the ropes, spear, and then that was it for old Ziggler. What'd you think?
It was funny. Also, like Ziggler oversold everything.
Yeah.
Like the man like flipped from the spear and everything, and I think that's what made it. Like that at least like you had that slow opening with the Becky match. So that at least infused some humor and
Yeah.
got a little bit of energy, I think, into the building because I think the crowd
Loved it.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
they looked like they were into it. So
The man was on his head at one point after a spear.
yeah. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it for what it was.
I think if you're an undercard talent like a Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Bo Dallas, like you're going and saying like, hey, Goldberg,
me
come
on.
back to the next show and I'll be your opponent.
Yep,
Because at least you're on the main show, and
of course.
you know, like you're getting beat up by Goldberg, and you're there, and you never know. People could be like, man, like why are they using Bo Dallas this way? Let's get behind him. So
Yeah,
I think you politic your way to be like, I'll lose to Goldberg, and
But even backstage, they see, okay, yo, he's selling his ass off. Maybe we'll put him with someone else, someone more.
Wait, is Ziggler not good with the company right now?
No, he's
He
He's
is
just
good.
underutilized.
Underutilized. Ziggler has a weird story.
He was underutilized. I don't know if he needs to be utilized anymore. Like, he's been around since, 2010?
Did he ever win the WWE championship?
Not
just
the
the World
WWE.
Heavyweight.
Oh,
World Heavyweight twice.
Okay.
But it never really led to anything. But he always, for a long time, he was the guy to put over the new guys.
Yeah.
But he kept on losing. So it's like, how is that putting over a new guy if you're beating a loser? So he took like a hiatus, and then he would come back to these weird... Like, he won... I remember one time he won the U.S. Championship, and then he forfeited
didn't want it.
the next night. Yeah, and then he's like, I'm going away. And then 2 weeks later was like the Rumble, and he appeared in the Rumble. It was like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I like him, that's why. So it's just weird to hear that.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. Fun factor, 10.
Yeah, I don't see...
And the crowd was into it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was everything it was supposed to be. Next, we had the United States Championship on the line. AJ Styles squaring off against Ricochet with the Raw Tag Team Champions in the corner of the OOOOC. So hopefully you got all that. Good match. Not the match I want from these two, because I think they can do so much more. But I'm quick to criticize high spots, and so this was like more of a storytelling wrestling match. But I think I just want to see these two flip and suplex and do Styles Clash like in the air and land on their neck and stand up. And
I really like the match. Ricochet always impresses move wise, and then obviously AJ Styles is good all around. They did some good spots with the OC, like Ricochet running off their shoulders.
That was cool. Yeah.
But I think the right person won. I think they're really pushing AJ and the OC, which I love. Ricochet, I don't think he'll be too hurt because it was technically a 3-on-1 type of... He could bounce back from... He could ricochet back from this.
Yeah.
I liked it. How about you, Ricks?
I liked it quite a bit, other than Ricochet's costume, his Party City costume.
yeah.
It looked very cheap.
Yeah. But AJ Styles is probably my favorite wrestler on the roster.
I'm going to tell Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode, he's a has-been. But no, AJ Styles always puts on a good match. But it almost is like, because he always puts on a good match, this wasn't one of his best. So like, he has the bar set so high that, as great as that was, I'll kind of forget about this match, right? But for what it was good. It was fun to watch. Like you were saying, a few good spots in there that were really cool. So yeah, good match.
Yeah. Again, like, the weird thing is no complaints, right? Like, no complaints about the matches. Next up was Bayley and Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I like
a
Ember
few
Moon.
rough spots, but I don't know, nothing.
See, I didn't even notice the rough spots.
I did. I remember pointing it out. I called them botches at first, but they weren't botches. They were just a little mistakes here and there. But it actually made the match... I feel like you guys were talking more. I know when we were watching it, everybody wasn't paying attention too much to this match. Okay. But I was watching it, and I actually, at one point I said, I feel like this is going to be my favorite match of the night. Like, I really enjoyed the match.
So I was watching it, and I'm a fan of Ember Moon. Like she moves so fluid, unlike Bayley. I'm not a big fan of Bayley.
Hey!
But Ember Moon just like moves so fluid. She's so graceful and agile.
And still ticked.
Yes.
I noticed you didn't point that out in men's matches. So.
Yeah, so she has the power behind her moves too. She has a great look. She keeps on losing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about this match. I think I expected more from both. The crowd wasn't too into this match, so I think that kind of hurt the big time feel of it. Which I was a little surprised. I thought like Toronto would be like, wow, like they're giving Ember a shot. Let's like jump at this time to get behind her, because she is a very good in-ring competitor. So is Bayley. I wouldn't say they didn't have chemistry, but there's something that just didn't click for this match.
Do you think it was because it was after, like, that AJ Styles match, even though the crowd wasn't really into it?
No.
I feel maybe that might have drawn out some of the energy. Because
honestly, I don't think so, because it was still early on in the card.
Yeah.
And
this is like mid-card.
They weren't into the AJ match like to the extent of like being like, wow.
Yeah.
Sure.
And with this match, I was going to say that this is when I noticed the crowd wasn't there. Also, pay-per-view in and of itself, just to skip ahead a little bit, was perfectly timed. It was a perfect length. It was like, what, 3 hours? 3.5?
3.5 roughly.
Like yeah.
10:30 and
almost 4, but yeah. Because 7 to,
Right. No, but I'm saying people who missed the pre-show just for the pay-per-view. This was It was well
It
planned
didn't feel
out.
like too much wrestling.
At
For
all.
someone that doesn't watch much, I remember WrestleMania wanting to like murder myself. So
It went on to the next day WrestleMania.
yeah.
But this one was well timed.
So what you're saying is, yeah, the crowd really shouldn't be exhausted by
At
what
this
they're
point.
watching.
But I
by
wonder
this
if they
point,
didn't
but-
know how long the show's going, so they were
True.
like, let's just like
Conserve
not invest
energy.
and like we can get up for the main events. But yeah, I don't know. Like again, I don't think Ember or Bailey suck. I don't think Ember or Bailey shouldn't be on pay-per-view. But for whatever reason, this match was just like kind of okay. I don't. But maybe a title change would have helped, or Ember turning more villainous would have helped, or somebody coming back and laying them both out.
Right.
But
Could I go on a quick aside? Real quick. What do you think about the tag champions and the intercontinental champions not having matches on a pay-per-view? Especially like SummerSlam.
I think if you're not over to an extent, like I don't think SummerSlam should feature every champion if they're not interesting.
Right. Okay.
There's some matches that I think everybody who like the SmackDown Women's Championship could have been passed too. Like if there's no real story, all Bailey did was say, "Hey, I'm gonna pick you." I mean, a lot of these matches are kind of like that actually, but
Right.
like who are the Raw Tag Team champions and SmackDown Tag Team? Like
Yeah.
if you were telling me right now, like
Correct.
you might know, we all might know.
I just
you know.
want to see Shinsuke, man.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Shinsuke and Ali, even if it was on the kickoff, but.
Oh yeah, not even the kickoff. What's going
Yeah,
on?
so yeah, I mean, I'm down to see them, but I think the company only knows how to portray. I mean, there's a lot of people. If you look at it, Drew wasn't on the show, Braun wasn't on the show, Samoa Joe wasn't on the show,
Alistair.
Roman
Corbin.
Reigns, Corbin, Daniel Bryan,
Alistair
Aleister Black, Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't make this show, which
Did
is
you say
good.
Braun?
Braun, yeah.
Lacey.
Oh yeah. Yo, what happened to Lacey Evans? I totally forgot about her.
Wasn't she
Right.
getting title matches not too long ago? And now she's off the card completely.
Wow. I'm not a fan. I'm just saying. She
I'm not
kinda
either, but
disappeared.
But
But I guess Shane McMahon needs his time in to shine.
and he was that was the next match, which apparently the crowd was really into. I know we couldn't really hear the audience too much, which is fine, but they ate up like the kind of old school like behind the back
Right,
shenanigans and
right.
stuff. So it tells you Toronto's into that old school style, and it's hard when Vince pulls like these old tricks and people react. He's never going to learn, right?
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I expected more from the match. I just can't.
I was surprised that Shane lost.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't, but
I know the stunner is unbeatable, and I like how they're protecting that move or whatever. I don't buy Owens as the ultra good guy, not as yet, anyways. But it was just another match, nothing horrible. Again,
yeah, I'll say the same thing. It was nothing horrible, but to me, it might have been the most forgettable, just for me personally.
Yeah.
I guess I have exhaustion from seeing Shane out there, and I don't even watch wrestling that much, and it just.
well,
I
he's
like
always
Kevin
on the
Owens.
pay-per-views,
Yeah,
right? So that's when you actually see him probably the most per hour
Yeah.
that you invest. So
exactly, and maybe because he didn't jump off something.
exactly.
He didn't do coast to coast. So, but yeah, no, it wasn't anything bad, and it's cool that at least they tried to do the old school, like,
tactics.
yeah, like, oh, I'm gonna fool you over here while something happens back here, type of thing. Like, that was okay, but I've seen it a million times, and
So Owens won. He gets to keep his job. He was
Oh, yeah, there
fine
was a
later on
stipulation.
SmackDown. So they're kind of just trying to portray him as the everyman. But I think Owens is a top level talent. But I
Yes.
don't like seeing him go like I don't like seeing Shane being equal to a professional wrestler.
Correct.
I think you insert that hardcore stipulation to give Shane
The edge.
the equal, like a wrestler and Shane with weapons is equal to the wrestler,
Okay.
not Shane is equal to the wrestler, and then when you bring in weapons, Shane is unstoppable.
he's the best in the world, right?
Well, there's only one who's the best in the world, and he's not in this company. The
Jesus
Boogeyman.
He's in AEW.
Oh. So speaking of Snooze Fest, that was the shout out to that company.
Oh man,
But on to the next match,
I'm leaving
Charlotte.
this
and
podcast
Trish
right now.
He can sign with them. They'll take anybody apparently. But
Orange Cassidy just got signed, by the way. Do you know who Orange Cassidy is?
Oh, I thought that was a
No idea.
drink in your fridge.
Oh man.
So Orange Cassidy, sorry Sean, he's
you
a
don't have to
guy.
apologize to me. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So he's a guy,
Oh, it's a guy.
literally in jeans and like a wife beater, sunglasses, orange hair, obviously Orange Cassidy. He walks to the ring with his hands in his pockets, just like he doesn't want to be there. And his offense is literally the Orange Cassidy kicks, just like
Oh man.
So,
Where did they sign him from?
Indies.
Oh, okay.
So he's a joke wrestler. He's a comedic wrestler, but his gimmick is he just doesn't want to be there.
And they're gonna throw the title on him.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh
it's so
man, fuck WWE. Yeah, I said it.
Right, a joke company signs a joke wrestler.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways,
Speaking of an actual wrestler, Charlotte Flair and Trish Stratus.
I did not think Charlotte needed this rub at all, and I was sad to see Trish lose in Toronto because I mean she's retired like 10 times, 10 times already. She could have.
But Kevin Owens just won, and he's Canadian. There you go. Can't have
true.
every Canadian win every match, right?
I guess.
Yeah, this was like the only women's match of any like merit, I'd say. Probably the most hot. Well, it was the last one to close as far as like the women's. Good match. It was good to see Trish can still go and was able to go. But I kind of knew what the story was going into this. Charlotte saying she's a queen and queen of all eras, and was she gonna lose? Probably not. So she beats Trish. Didn't offend me, didn't bother me, but didn't also capture like, man, I'm so happy to see Trish back because. I've seen her at Evolution. I've seen her at Royal Rumbles.
Right.
She didn't seem unstoppable then. She got thrown out the Rumble, won a tag match with Lita. Like, wasn't anything. I don't know. I'm just not clamoring. The way I maybe like Edge. If Edge came back, would I want to see him lose? Maybe not. But yeah, nothing. I don't know. Nothing really stood out to me about.
I liked what stood out to me was that Trish could still go, and she looked fine.
And yeah, she's like 52 according to you, right?
Trish Stratus is not 52 years old. How old is she?
43?
42?
42, 41, somewhere there.
Something like that.
Yeah. Again, another forgettable match.
Yeah, no, I thought the match was okay. The only issue I really had, it felt staged, or at some parts, like, I feel like the flow of this match was a little bit off. Maybe that was just me.
I didn't notice.
Like spot to spot.
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
like what I
notice
said
it.
about that women's ladder match. Was it the Mania one? No, at Money in the
Money
Bank.
in the Bank.
So you're just an insult.
Yes, that's right.
No, I know what you mean. Like, hey, whip me to this corner. When we
Yeah.
go from this corner, whip me to the
Right,
ropes. Sunset.
But
flip,
it could just
kick
be
out
because Trish isn't.
Hasn't done it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad or anything, but
Yeah.
that's just the vibe I got from it.
Right.
But what I would have liked to see her win as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely probably the best match to that point of all the ones that passed it. Maybe match-wise. Maybe, I don't know, Goldberg was still probably the most exciting. Or maybe AJ
You know
and Ricochet.
what?
I don't know which one.
You're right. Match-wise, I like the AJ Styles and Ricochet. But the Charlotte and Trish, it was a wrestling match. You know?
Yeah, it was good.
How
There
long
nothing-
was that, by the way?
It says here it was about 16 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was good. I mean,
Decently.
like, I'm not here to say, like, oh, I was bored out of my mind.
No.
You know, and like you said, like, Trish going 16 minutes after not doing wrestling full time, like, that's very impressive. And, like, she has to get her credit. I'm glad she was able to compete in her hometown. Like, I'm not taking anything away. It was just a match that was there, and it was great. And go watch it. I'm not saying it was terrible, but was it like, man, like, you got to check that out, must see.
And the ending was pretty, you know, it wasn't bad. It was, she tapped out.
Yeah.
A horrible ending though.
Yeah. Next we have the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton. I was really excited for this match. I thought the build was really good.
Because they've had a build since what, 2007?
2009.
Yeah.
When Kofi was first trying to be a breakout star. They kind of used some like pseudo shoot stuff. Randy calling him stupid, which I don't know if you guys heard in the crowd. They were chanting stupid at
Stupid.
Kofi.
Yeah.
Stupid Kofi, Randy sucks. Like, were the dueling chants.
Stupid
Yeah.
Kofi.
But some people heard
Randy sucks.
stupid Kofi and he sucks.
That's hilarious.
Well, yeah, I was very shocked at that crowd reaction, but it is a typical Toronto reaction, which I was glad in a way that
In some
they did.
ways, yeah. I was like, if this wasn't the champion I wanted them to crap on, but
For
So
sure.
they
I
chose.
like Kofi as a champion. He's doing a real good job.
Hey, he's been defending that title,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
And
no,
winning,
I really
and-
like what they're doing with him.
And
to be honest.
he hasn't been cheesy. He's been doing his same New Day stuff, which is hilarious. They
yeah,
have-
I don't personally hate. I mean, I'm not big on the pancake thing, but I don't hate the goofing around,
Right.
right? So
So the ending of this match was weird because I don't think they filmed it properly. It took the announcer, I think it was Corey Graves, who said, "Oh, he shouldn't have gone up to his family like that." I'm like, when did he do that?
yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
yeah. It
And-
looked like there was a frame where Randy looked at them, and then we went back to like Randy focusing on Kofi, and then he just like I don't know if it was Randy or the moment like they caught him after he looked at the family too long, so they didn't focus on it.
Right.
But that's more a TV thing. I mean, I guess we can forgive and try to say like, oh well, we know the story, but when that's wrestling, right? Like if you don't film it properly, then you don't convey the story to your audience.
Sure, yeah.
And then everyone's left like, what the hell's going on? And I'm sure the live crowd just like looked and saw like he said something, and then
Because they were chanting bullshit.
yeah.
When
And
the-
it was. I think that was where Toronto got right.
I don't think a pay-per-view or like a championship match should ever
Yeah,
end
no way.
with a double count out.
Yeah.
Like
Like
that just seems like
I understand why they did it. They don't want to take the strap off of Kofi because he's a good champion, and they want to continue the storyline with Randy. I don't think they did it in the proper way.
But
I
then
understand why
you could have had Orton like DQ'd.
Yeah.
Like you could have done something like that, or like I don't know.
Yeah.
You could have
It's
still
very
had
simple.
it end
You
weird.
could have had
but-
Kofi. So Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise at the end of the match, right? Could have had that. He beats Randy for the first time, gets his vengeance.
You think beats him, eh?
Beats him. Goes to his kids, shows him, whatever. Randy comes, clocks him behind as he's going to his kids. So the belt is in the hands of his kids.
Okay.
He clocks Kofi, throws him in, brings back the punch for one night,
Oh,
and the kids are watching this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he goes like this in front
So
of
would
the kids
that
and
would that
walks
put
off.
out Kofi?
And then it may put out, or it may, like Randy, all he has to do is go back on TV and be like, Kofi, you tell your kids you're a champion. What was the last image they saw of you? Was you laying down, defenseless, worthless, and beaten by me? And all I had to do was use my right foot.
So,
And, it just shows that you're not a...
so I would say, I think I might go DQ Orton for the eventual Kofi triumphant, like, I finally got you, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Because I think Orton is in the twilight of his career, so he is willing to put over people.
About time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
Right.
I don't know. Double countouts.
Nonsense.
I don't know what happens when they sit down to put on a show and say, all right, we're going to end with a double count out, and the crowd's going to lose their
Love-
minds. They're going to love this. Like, I don't know when that, like, crosses their mind.
Yeah.
If you're getting a double count out, the job is to get the heat on the heel, right? Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
heel caused the double count
Yeah.
out, so Kofi's trying to get back in
Exactly.
to reset the count, and the heel is beating him down. Then they hate Randy Orton.
But
more.
this way,
this
they're
was
like,
It was staged so
Huh?
weird.
Yeah.
It was staged.
It was like he sneezed, and we're like, oh, shoot,
exactly.
ring the
Yeah.
bell. And, like,
And they kind of put the blame on Kofi.
yeah.
Which is
So
come
you're
on.
not putting the heat on the right person.
Yeah.
And then people hate
Boo.
the match, right?
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
maybe if the match, I mean, again, we're gonna say it for like the 100th time. The match wasn't bad, but it also wasn't. To me, it wasn't that memorable as well. So maybe if you had like a really amazing match and then there was that, it's a little bit more forgivable. But what I remember from this match now is that shitty ending.
Well, hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully, they're doing a slow burn like they used to do, like back in the Attitude Era.
Well, I would assume that's what was the whole point of this. You hope.
You hope, yeah, you
Yeah.
hope, and I would approve if I see like 3 months down the line and they're still feuding and it's hot as ever. I would approve.
But you could have done it differently and still got that same
Good
thing 3 months down the line. I think that's what we're saying. I don't think. It's easy to say, look back and be like, oh, look at what this feud came to in the end.
Yeah.
But you go back to that time and you're like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, why did that end like that?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
They could have put Orange Cassidy in this match and it would have been better.
Shout out to Orange guys. Okay, and I think it's time that you let us in and we talk about the jewel of the night.
Finn Balor in his white attire.
Yeah, Angel Finn Balor.
Yeah, wow.
Shana, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one.
So yeah, for almost post WrestleMania, we've seen some of the Bray Wyatt vignettes of the Firefly Funhouse, and slowly revealing the Fiend. And I guess the big question was, how would the Fiend translate from like really awesome imagery from the mask and the presentation and the sound effects? How would that translate to an in-ring competitor, right? Like it's sometimes doesn't transition well. So this was the re-debut of Bray Wyatt, debut of the Fiend. They always say you can only make a first impression once, and some debuts, like Kane, Chris Jericho, what people would classify as like home runs, like pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I would say this is closest to like a grand slam of a debut. of a character.
I would say he made 2 Grand Slams: original Bray and this Bray.
Yeah, I thought the Wyatt family vignettes in the debut were really good, but the Fiend was just, I don't know, everything about it, the theme, the look, the lighting, the lantern,
Excellent.
the attire,
That
the
lantern,
new theme
man,
music,
that lantern was
the
creepy as hell.
remix,
yeah,
the how they started. We're all glad, whatever, the
the
Firefly,
fire, yeah.
and then it switched to hardcore rock, and you didn't know what it was. It seemed kind of generic at first, but it was kind of cool. And then the lyrics hit, and it was like, oh, they remixed that shit. That sounded so good. Catching flies. That entrance was Undertaker-esque. He took his slow stroll down. The lantern is like Taker's urn now. I don't think they'll show it on TV. I think he'll save that for pay-per-views.
Yeah, and the Fiend shouldn't be like a regular character on like Raw and SmackDown. Like he shouldn't be coming out every time to this entrance. He shouldn't be coming out like commercial break and then he's in the ring. Like,
absolutely.
it should be
an event.
like an unpredictable. Like when is the Fiend coming back?
Yep.
And not that this is like the old era where you pay, but you know, like subscribe to the network. Like what they did with like what they're doing with the 2K20 as him being a pre-order is like a money idea. The only way you get the Fiend in the game, you got to pre-order the game.
Excellent.
Well, it keeps the prestige. Like, yeah, it's a business thing, but it keeps the prestige of that character
of course,
as well.
you're only helping yourself.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Finn Balor's reaction when?
Yeah, he for his part,
he sold it really well.
He did well.
Yeah, he like looking and kind of shocked, and oh, it was so good. I can't wait till he comes back as the Demon. Even though I'm not too sold on the Demon Balor, it's Finn Balor and face paint.
Finn is probably. I said AJ Styles is my favorite on the thing.
Get out of
Finn
here.
is second. No, I like Finn Balor a lot.
I do like Finn Balor, but from
You have to pay attention to who this guy likes. We can talk about that
Me?
after. Yeah.
Because they're white males? Is that what this is?
No. As like no, okay. Well, I'll go on a very quick
aside.
just to talk about casual
Bullet
fan.
Club? Is that because they all fought in the thing, eh?
Yeah, bringing up things of like little
Orange Cassidy?
piss arena wrestling. You know, like
Pissant.
you're one of 40 people watching it.
How dare you?
But you are a casual fan, and you know people always say like, "Oh, I used to watch wrestling, Rock, Austin,
Yeah.
Undertaker." As a casual fan, 3 people that you've mentioned that you're fans of or like to see or don't mind when they're on the TV are AJ, Finn, and Seth. Right? You said that. I don't know. To me, that stands out as like, man, like we take these guys as like good in-ring people. Are they actually captivating? Or are they like
Interesting.
indie darlings?
Oh wow.
But you as a casual,
you prove it that
they're not just indie darlings. So to me, that stands out.
Excellent point, Sean. That's excellent analysis.
You also don't like anyone from the New Day or Apollo Crews or.
Wait, I never
Titus
said I don't
O'Neil,
like anyone.
but,
Wow.
You know
This guy.
that is
no
what it is.
Ember Moon,
Wow.
no Shelton Benjamin.
But you know, so that also talks about the casual fan. But
This guy.
I didn't hear you say Akira Tozawa or.
Oscar. Okay, so the match, everything it should have been.
Yeah, I mean,
Balor still got his offense
for some reason, yeah,
but no, not for some reason. I think they needed to do that because Balor is an asset. He got his offense, but Bray just powered through it. He's a tank, muscle man. Powered through that. I did not like the Steven Seagal neck break.
I didn't like that either.
I think that was the cheesiest thing.
Yeah,
I'm glad, like, Cole or anything didn't. They just broke his neck. Like, they didn't go off on that because that would have made it even worse.
Now here's the power of Bray Wyatt's new character. I did not even hear Michael Cole for that whole match. I was just so enthralled.
Commentary was pretty quiet during the match, I feel.
As they
even
should be.
On the entrance and everything. They could have easily ruined that
Ruined it,
entrance,
yeah.
and they did a great job with it. So
Hopefully they've been reading my YouTube comments about my Michael Cole. But yeah, excellent match from bell to bell. Excellent match.
Do you see the Fiend, or would you want to see the Fiend be the one to take the belt from Kofi, or is that
No.
not where?
No. I want him to go after Rollins.
Ugh. Oh no, I like that, but
I want him to beat Rollins. I'm not a big fan of Rollins. We'll get into that
Yeah.
a bit later. But
in my head, okay, I guess like I do want the Fiend as a champion
yes,
because even though I like Bray more than this other guy who I'm about to introduce, I think there's something in the Fiend being champion going into Mania, and a guy to challenge him as a guy who's looking for people to knock on his door.
So,
I think there's something in Aleister Black.
right.
and the Fiend.
I think there is something there too, but I think it's too obvious that they won't do it.
Yeah.
I also think that Bray or the Fiend winning at Mania instead of retaining at Mania would be a better moment. The Fiend win, that would be like WrestleMania 13. Taker, Psycho Sid, that'd be dark day. He'll usher in the dark days and I could see it.
I also want to point out, I like where this was placed too. After the double count out. And fans were a little pissed off and everything like that. I think it was good. And in between your title matches, basically, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, highlight of the night for me.
I like even the ending where they did the flashing light. I love that flashing light thing. It's so scary.
That mask is terrifying to me.
It's like Slipknot-esque. But apparently, I think they're working with Slipknot. Did you see?
Slipknot did the NXT TakeOver theme.
Yeah.
In Toronto. So
that's cool.
Yeah, should have been Swollen members since it's Toronto.
Oh, man.
Members.
I don't remember the last time I heard Swollen members mentioned. Wow, that's as Toronto as it gets.
Mocha only?
Oh, wow.
Nelly Furtado did a song with
They
them
did a
too.
song together. I have it on my iPod Nano.
Yeah. I was a huge fan of Soul Members back in like...
How many albums did they have? Like half of one?
No.
They had a few.
No, they had a few.
They had like 4, I think.
4?
Did they ever win a Juno?
They did.
Oh, they must. They might be one of the leading Juno artists, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Swollen Members.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
And so that leads us to...
Yeah, I got no Swollen member reference.
I was about to say, Brock is kind of swole still.
Yeah.
He's thick. There you go. See, I can
there
mention
it is, yeah. The Canadian, Brock Lesnar.
No, man.
Did you
Saskatchewan?
see Saskatchewan? Shout out to Saskatchewan.
There's a big ass flag in the background.
That was like the most Canadian thing we've ever done on this
man.
podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for anybody from Saskatchewan listening to this, but you guys have an ugly flag, man. That yellow and green.
I thought it was for Kofi, to be honest.
Oh my.
Ghana flag.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a Jamaican flag. Then I realized.
Check out Kofi's 24, and he explains
everything.
He created that. He created the Jamaican thing. It was not McMahon.
It was not Vince. Yeah. Brock and Rollins.
People love this match apparently.
Why?
But I don't know.
I like the match.
Why? Tell me
I
why.
remember when I was watching. Okay, I'm not a Brock fan, right? I don't like. I was expecting he was going to win the match, so maybe that was one of the reasons why.
When you say you're not a Brock fan, do you not like Brock Lesnar because he barely shows up, or do you not like his wrestling style, or do you not like the fact that he doesn't talk?
I don't mind that he doesn't show up much. I understand that's his role.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't find his matches very entertaining.
Really?
Yeah, that's just me personally. But this match, and remember I was trying to call it where I'm like, okay, you're going to get, Seth's going to have a little bit of offense, but then he's going to end it like this. And then it surprised me.
They faked you out a little bit.
Yeah, and the match, I thought it was quite a decent match. Like, Brock still dominated for a good portion, but Seth remember how he got twirled around with his bandage?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was a good match. I remember hearing online, that was the match of the night, and it was super amazing. I don't know about that. It might have been my favorite Brock match that I've seen that I can remember in the past, little while.
Do you guys remember, I think it was a Capital Punishment pay-per-view. It was Cena defending his title against, I think it was R-Truth, maybe? And the Big Show interrupted? Is that the one?
That sounds like a terrible main event.
No, it was.
I don't remember if the Big Show.
I like R-Truth. Anyways, 24/7. Oh no, he's not the 24/7 champion.
He lost the belt.
Yeah,
he had it here in Toronto. Oh really?
Yeah.
When is Carmella gonna turn on him anyways and win the belt?
So, anyways, there was a pay-per-view where John Cena was challenging for the belt. Big Show interrupted and threw him into one of those huge Hollywood lights, and Cena went into the lights and it blew up.
Oh, okay, I think I remember seeing that clip.
The very next night on Raw, Cena showed up and just decimated everyone. Did not sell what just happened on Sunday. That, I think, modern wrestling, that is my worst modern wrestling memory. The match with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins reminded me exactly of that, because Brock decimated Rollins. He F5'd him on chairs. He set up the chair as you were going to sit on it, and F5'd the man on the chair. Then when Rollins got taken out into the stretcher, he took him out the ambulance, classic wrestling. Then F5'd him on the stretcher. Rollins' ribs was taped up. Why did Rollins win this match? I don't understand. He looked way too strong.
I guess I didn't get that vibe.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, after seeing a match when Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar fought.
Oh, that was horrible.
And it was literally finisher after finisher after
Well,
finisher.
let's use finisher light. It was punches to the face. That's
Superman punch is probably the best finisher.
get out of here.
Like then you have like the stunner and you have the rock bottom and the master lock. Shout out to Chris Masters. They should bring him back. He would probably be. Would be after like Finn Balor. He would be on that list. But I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much time. But yeah, I enjoyed the match.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Or the main event.
The main event. How you feeling?
Whatever, really. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Rollins. I was like definitely for him. Like his tweets and stuff about like Will Ospreay and WWE being the best wrestling. Man. I would definitely supported because I don't really consider anyone else like on their level. But he's just like, I don't know. I just like have disconnected from Seth Rollins. So I didn't. I'm happy he has the belt because I guess it's going to be defended.
Right.
And maybe Drew McIntyre or Samoa Joe can beat him for it.
So people say that, right? People say, oh, your belt's going to be defended now that a full-time guy has it. Literally, maybe every pay-per-view. Not on TV shows. Not like Kofi is doing it. I feel like Raw is way more, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't use it as much. They don't use the belt as much.
Even though they have 3 hours and they can.
Exactly. Right? We'll see with Heyman running the show now.
Mm-hmm.
But even with Seth and the belt, I don't think we'll see it like any more. Like, there's going to be a lot of talking if the past has any indication rather than wrestling.
On the weekly show, yeah. I don't care about that. I don't think the belt should be defended. I don't even think the champion needs to be on every TV show. I was getting tired of Mania, SummerSlam,
Right.
Survivor Series being when you saw Universal title defenses. So
Right.
it'll be good to see it on the Clash and Hell in a Cell and things like that. Like you having, I don't know, the Baron Corbin feud actually I think hurt Rollins because it was like that's who your challenger was for the longest time and like you barely got over him.
Yeah.
So yeah, just annoying stuff. And I think Seth is capable of having good matches, and I think
they're trying to make him cool, which
is always a recipe for making somebody very uncool.
Yeah,
in WWE.
Especially when Michael
In real
Cole
life.
is like really promoting you. It's like I'm not trying to listen to Michael Cole.
Yeah, because these guys have no credibility to their audience's eyes, right? So
yeah. I used to be a fan of Seth Rollins. I love his in-work ability.
He's fine.
He was cool on the mic, but now he's just a bit much, especially with the whole Becky Lynch thing. They try to shove that down our throat.
Yeah. Well, think about it. The man opened up with the win, and the man's man closed out the pay-per-view with the win.
William Regal was on the show?
There you
Right, so again, I think that match pretty much summed up SummerSlam for me. It was just a match. Just another match.
It was good.
Yeah.
But it was nothing. I think SummerSlam needs to feel like the number 2 pay-per-view of the year, like the WrestleMania of the summer.
Right.
A different set. And it's hard because they're doing 4 nights in the same city, so they just keep the same set.
True.
I think we made that joke, like, oh, does it still say NXT? So that hurts, but like, it's your number 2 show, right? Like the Rumble felt different this year, with it being in the baseball stadium. WrestleMania is always extravagant.
Yeah.
I know Money in the Bank and Survivor Series are probably going to be your basic shows, but SummerSlam at least could feel a little different. But I guess, I don't know. I'm anticipating that their King of the Ring tournament, that's going to be the guy who sets up for the next Universal. It depends which end, SmackDown or Raw, but
I love that they brought that back. I'm a big fan. But we will talk about that next time on our pod, probably next week, when the tournament actually kicks off. Actually, before we go, Sean, I wanted to ask you more about NXT TakeOver. Like, your just like takeaways from that. What the beginning of the night was like, and what the end of the night was like. Did you have any interactions? Did you how was it? Especially compared to like you've been to Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. It was the best wrestling show I've ever been to.
Okay.
In my life, and I've been to not that many. I've been to Raw and SmackDown, a few indie shows. Unforgiven 2006 was definitely the best show up until this point.
Right.
That was with the TLC match and the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
And going with friends.
And Big Show ass.
Yes. But this NXT TakeOver was the best wrestling show. I missed. There's something about going by yourself. You feel like a journalist. You don't really like. I still reacted and stuff, but
well, you were there on behalf of Generic Transmission.
Yeah.
That's
so,
right.
but
you
I
can
do
only afford to have you pay for your ticket and go by yourself.
It was weird because I sat by another person who came by themselves.
Oh no way.
And then
you guys left together.
But so the crowd was electric. The crowd was chanting NXT. The crowd was chanting Adam Cole before, like, even the lights came on, basically.
Cool.
So Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, by far the most over act.
Would you say that the crowd was like Full Sail or better?
I would say they were trying. I would say they were a Toronto full. Like, they weren't Full Sail because I don't think. No offense, Toronto and anyone who lives here or anyone who came to take over. Life is harder than 3 letters, and we couldn't even say NXT in unison.
Oh shucks.
So NXT is not very hard to just like. Let's all say it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, did the whole Scotiabank arena just
have a seizure?
Yeah. So they were very hot. There was 2 dark matches. Breezango were in.
Oh,
man!
man! Wow.
Big pop from us.
And Fandango, like people were fandangoing.
I thought he was off the card completely.
So
to
he
be
just
honest.
came back. He
Yeah.
came back like I think a week before to help out Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
Remember
And
when
then
he debuted at Mania?
Yeah.
He had,
And he beat Jericho, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
They beat the Forgotten Sons.
Oh wow.
So that was cool, and people were like really excited. So that match was on NXT TV.
Tyler Breeze, Canadian.
And then there's 2. The NXT Breakout Tournament was also taped. That's on NXT. Jordan Miles, formerly ACH, and Cameron Grimes, formerly Trevor Lee. If anybody's familiar with Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling, those guys were there.
Mina.
So that was fun. I think people got into it. The crowd was ready, though, for a takeover. The tag match kicked off the show. With this takeover, I did if anybody wants to check on my blog, I did a rank of the last 25 takeovers leading up to Toronto, which would have been the 26th. So I ranked the last 25.
We'll have
This
your blog link
takeover
in the description.
This takeover wouldn't even crack the top 10 for me. Probably the better of the Toronto takeovers, in my opinion. But I think there's like a live bias that's certainly into it. I do regret going for a beer at the beginning of the Io Shirai Candice LeRae match because that turned out to be a really good match.
Okay.
But I caught most of it. I just missed the entrance, like the build-up video and the entrances and a little bit. When I went back to watch it on TV, I realized I didn't miss that much.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
You watched the whole thing afterwards?
I watched the
as
whole
well?
thing afterwards.
Okay.
And then I was like ready. My highlight was definitely the Velveteen Dreams entrance.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
ready for the Velveteen
Seen
Dream.
that.
I didn't care about the people behind me. I stood up and I was ready.
Of course.
Then they popped me with nostalgia for the Mounties old theme, and I was ready. And I was like, "What is this?" So like, and I was like, "I don't think this is Velveteen." Then they brought out the Raptors entrance, which just shocked me. Looking back, it was more of a live experience thing, as opposed to like when I watched it on TV. If you're not a Raptors fan, that's really not that cool to you, I guess.
Right.
But the Velveteen Dream was awesome, and then the cage, the 3 stages of hell. That whole match was just fun. It was like a
Insane.
fun match.
Yeah.
Wasn't 5-star. Probably would have been if it was in Japan, according to people who rate these things.
Mr.
But,
Meltzer.
and then the cage fall. It was crazy because they only broke 1 table.
Yeah. So when I saw it, I think it was off of your video actually. I thought they missed the table completely, and then I'm like, oh, they broke through 1, but I guess there was 2 there.
Yeah,
That sounds dangerous.
yeah. But that was like a really fun match. Chance of thank you Regal, ECW.
Nice.
Please don't die when they were on top of the cage, chanting please don't die. And then when everything out, Undisputed Era helped Adam Cole out. Johnny Gargano got like a standing ovation. Thank you, Johnny.
Damn.
Kind of like a send off, probably because he's going main roster. Because I don't
that's
think there's anything left for him to do
Not good news.
in NXT. But
Aren't the Street Profits doing well?
But actually, they're
They're-
not wrestling, but they are doing well.
they are like
They're just characters backstage type
Yeah,
of thing?
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely suggest. Like I now see why Takeover is like must see because I've never seen a bad Takeover. There's better Takeovers and there's
Right,
weaker.
right.
But the weakest Takeover may have been better than SummerSlam.
Oh shit.
So, like Takeover if it comes to your town, if you guys are interested, if it ever comes back to Toronto, I definitely encourage you to go. Even if you don't know people, the excitement is very contagious. So
Nice.
I would definitely check it out.
So you'd say take over the opportunity to see it. Can we just cut that out? Because it sounded cooler in my head.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. Thanks, guys, for chatting with me for an hour about wrestling. Thanks, Sean, for hosting SummerSlam, actually.
No problem.
Always a pleasure doing it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All conversations are welcome, I think.
we will get together again and focus more on the King of the Ring tournament that's happening next week. I'm very excited about that. Ricky, the Leaf, where can people find you in the meantime?
You could find me on Instagram at 8bit to the future. You can find me on our YouTube website, which is probably where you are listening to this, Generic Side Quest. And also, I run the Orange Cassidy fan club. Wanted to throw in one more Orange Cassidy joke. But yeah, I don't have a big social presence, but you can find me.
Cool. Sean.
Twitter at Walk with Ali, and then you'll find, or you could Google, I guess, Midcard Blogger. The link's in my Twitter, but
And the description below.
yeah, and it'll be in the description below. Check it out. Usually I write monthly, if that. Trying to get more into the habit. I'm hoping to come out with a ranking list of ranking the King of the Rings from the inception to Wade Barrett, and ranking what I think is the worst or the lowest to the best King of the Ring in time for Monday. So
would Maven be your favorite?
He was never in the tournament nor the King of the Ring. So
can we cut that out too?
And you can find me right here on Generic Side Quests. We will eventually get back to our gaming stuff one of these days, but you will always hear our wrestling pod. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.